prayers? Yeah, I think we've covered most of the ones that are a little difficult to do. We finished till Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha, right? All right. Very simple 3 prayers there. Okay. We'll start with Namo Mahavadanyaya. Okay. Namo, I offer my obeisances to Mahavadanyaya. What does the word Vadanyaya mean? Somebody who's very, very generous, who's very magnanimous, right? Who's very liberal in his thought. So Mahavadanyaya refers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Most generous incarnation. Krishna Prema Pradayate. What did he come to do? He came to give all of us Krishna Prema. Right? No great philosophy, no nothing. Whoever he saw, he gave them Krishna Prema. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. He is Krishna, but his name in this incarnation is Krishna Chaitanya. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. Okay? Gaura Tvishe Namaha. Tvacha. What is the color of his skin? Gaur. Gaur is like gold. Okay? So his complexion was like gold, like Srimati Radharani. So, Gaura Tvishe. He came in Radharani's color. Okay? He came sparkling like gold. He was so gorgeous to look at. So, Namo, I do Namaste to Mahavadanyaya, to the most liberal incarnation. Why is he most liberal? Because Krishna Prema Pradayate. He didn't see if you were deserving or not deserving. He gave us Krishna Prema. Right? He gave Krishna Prema to everybody. Human beings, animals, trees, everybody. So Krishna Prema Pradayate. He gave the simplest way to Krishna Prema, which is Sankirtan, Nama Sankirtan. That is why he is Mahavadanyaya. He is Krishna, and he came as Krishna Chaitanya Namne. His name in this incarnation is Krishna Chaitanya. So Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. He looks like Radharani because he has her complexion. Is this prayer simple? Yes? Okay. Next one. Next one is so beautiful. It is addressing Krishna. Right? Hey Krishna, you are Karuna Sindhu. Sindhu is an ocean. Right? So you're an ocean of Karuna, mercy, which all of us experience every day in our lives. Right? So Krishna is Karuna Sindhu, Deena Bandhu. Deena, jo deen dukhi hai, if you're in trouble, right? He is your bandhu, your best friend. He is Jagatpate. He is the Lord of the universe. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Deena Bandhu, Jagatpate, Gopesha. Sab gopon ke Isha. He is the Lord among all the cowherd boys. Right? Gopesha, Gopika Kanta. All the Gopikas, they love you. So the darling of the gopis. And Radha Kanta, lover of Radharani. Namostute. I do Dandvat Pranam to you. Right? So, hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Deena Bandhu, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namostute. Any question in this one? No? Everyone knows what each word means? Then, of course, as soon as we, do Namaskar to Krishna, who do we obviously pray to next? Radharani. Right? So Radharani is Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Right? Her complexion is like Tapta, garam gold. Kanchan is gold. Right? So when you heat gold, जब वो लिक्विड फॉर्म में होता है, मोल्टन फॉर्म में होता है, इट चमकोर्स, राइट? सो तप्त कांचन गौरांगी, सो गौर के रंग की, सो गोल्डन कंप्लेक्शन. राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी, ओ राधा, you are वृंदावन की ईश्वरी. So we all think that we go to Vrindavan to meet Krishna. पर वृंदावन की रानी कौन है? राधा रानी. So राधे वृंदावन की ईश्वरी, the Lord of Vrindavan, the Queen of Vrindavan. Vrishabhanu Sute. Sute is daughter. So daughter of Vrishabhanu, O Devi, Pranamami. I am doing pranam to you, and you are Hari Priye, somebody who Hari dotes on. Hari's most beloved is Radharani. Right? So Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Okay? And then the one that we chant when we start, the mantra that we recite before we start our chanting, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, right? So we're praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu Nityananda. Unke is side pe, there is the guy in the blue. He is Nityananda, right? Then on the right side, there is one in orange, one in red. Shri Advaita Gadadhar. Okay, Advait Gadadhar. And then to the left of Nityanand Prabhu, there is one in white. He is Shrivasa. So, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shrivasa, Adi, etc., etc., Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Everybody in the line of bhakti, we do namaskar to them. Okay, so this is prayer to the Pancha Tattva. Pancha Tattva, 5 important personalities: Lord, Guru, Lord's dearest disciple, the personification of devotion, and there's one more. I forgot. I will look at it. Okay. So Pancha Tattva, these are 5 tattvas that take us ahead in bhakti. Alright? So Pancha Tattva. Then of course, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Alright? With that, we're done with the prayers. Not bad, huh? Any questions with the prayers so far? No? Okay, then we'll start today's session. Where are we? We're when Suta Goswami says that he was present when Shukdev Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So when the Bhagavad was first time recited by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, Suta Goswami was already present there. So Shaunak Rishi, who is the head of all the 88,000 rishis at Naimisharanya, he gets up and he says, Suta Goswami, aapke to bhagya kitne zyada achhe hain. Right? You are Mahabhagya. And to top that, you're also a great speaker. So now, please tell us everything that you heard from Shukdev Goswami. Right? So they ask a whole lot of questions. Please tell us the history of the Bhagavatam. In which yug, at which place, for what reason, who inspired this whole thing, right? Why did Vyasdev compile this beautiful scripture? Okay? Then of course they ask some questions about Shukdev Goswami. They ask questions about Parikshit Maharaj. So in today's verses, starting today, right up till the 7th chapter ka beginning, Suta Goswami is going to be answering all these questions. Okay, he's going to be talking about when, where, how, who inspired Vyasdev to compile the Bhagavad. Okay, and then actually 7th chapter onwards, till the end of the canto, we're going to hear about Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. So essentially the rest of the canto, the rest of the whole first canto are answers to these questions that Shaunak Rishi has asked. Okay, So let's get started with today's verses. We are doing the 4th chapter, verse number 14.
Can I ask from the text 13, so the 13th verse? I was actually about to ask last week. In the explanation, in the translation, it says that some Vedas, some except for some portions of the Vedas. So, and then I read the purport, and there were 2 types of explanations given. So I was confused.
Okay, so essentially what happens is there are so many sections of the Vedas that we don't need to go into detail. That is the whole Karmakand section. ये पूजा करोगे तो ये बेनिफिट मिलेगा, ये ऑस्टेरिटी करोगे तो ये बेनिफिट मिलेगा. That section, right, is not necessary for anybody who wants to focus on bhakti. So the Vedas are divided in such a way कि कर्मियों के लिए there is one section, कर्मकांडी के लिए there is one section, ज्ञानी के लिए there is a section, भक्ति के लिए there is an, actually भक्ति के लिए hardly है उसमें. It gets lost, bhakti gets lost in all the Vedas. It is everywhere, but it's not specifically in one portion. So the reason he says is, you know everything that is important, you don't know what is not important. Right? So that is what he's telling him. You're very, very well versed with everything that we want to know. So let's focus on that. Let's not focus on what is not relevant to our spiritual growth. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Text number 14. Please unmute and repeat. Suta uvacha. Dvapare samanu prapte. Tritiye yugaparyaye. Jatah parasharad yogi. Vasavyam kalaya harehe. Bhakti, please read the translation.
Srila Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashar Muni in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu.
Thank you. So now again, second millennium overlapped the third. Irrelevant. Okay, you'll find different explanations in different places. All that we need to understand, okay, Dwapare samanu prapte tritiye yuga paryaye. When the third portion of Dwapar Yug started, each yug, okay, is divided into 3 parts, like everything else that we do. The beginning, the middle portion, the end portion. Okay, so every yug, first 10% is called the beginning, then the 80% in between, the middle portion, and then the last 10% is called the end portion. Okay, so in the last 10%, in that period was when this incident happened, was when Vyasadeva was born. Jata Parasharad Yogi. Jata is, who is the father? Kinse janam liya? So the answer is Parashar. He was born to Parashar Muni. Vasavyam. The mother is the daughter of Vasu. Father is Parashar Muni. Daughter is Vasu. The mother is the daughter of Vasu. Okay, so the daughter of Vasu is a beautiful girl called Satyavati. Okay. Kalaya Harehe. The child born is a Kala, a plenary portion of Hari, of Krishna. A very simple way to understand the meaning of the word Kala, we all hear that Krishna had 64 Kalas in full. Right? Krishna went to Sandipani Muni's ashram, and in 64 days, he learned 64 topics of knowledge, 64 Kalas. Out of those talents, those strengths, those virtues, those opulences that Krishna had, when someone has even one Kala in full, okay, he's called a Kala of the Supreme Lord. So this child who was born, okay, he is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Okay, जैसे भगवान को लिटरेचर समझ में आता है, वैसे दिस बच्चा व्यासदेव was so paripurna in all literatures. Therefore, he is called Kalaya Harehe. Have I complicated this? Towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, to Parashar Muni and to Satyavati was born a child who is a plenary portion of Krishna. Okay? Now, so this is answering in which yug? Which yug? Dwapar Yuga, but towards the end. Okay? So the exact answer समझने के लिए we have to know the story of Vyasdev's birth. One of you had presented Vyasdev, no, when we did the incarnations. Who spoke on Vyasdev? I don't remember. Okay, anyways. So how many of you remember the whole story of birth of Vyasdev? No? Should we do that again? Yes? Alright. Okay. So,
It was me, but I'm
see that? I can't hear you, Bhakti.
right now.
वर्षा मुझे बोलना
Couple Muni.
अनीता
हाँ अच्छा आपने बोलना था
Not me, right?
तो
you only spoke about
अच्छा I only spoke. Okay, so nobody remembers what I spoke? Okay, ठीक है. So, long time ago, towards the end of Dwapar Yuga, on the banks of the Yamuna, okay, there was this simple, beautiful girl called Satyavati. Okay, simple girl, her father was the king of fishermen, Vasu. Okay, and off season, what would they do? He would work as a boatman, and his daughter, this girl Satyavati, she would help her father by taking, people across the river, across the Yamuna. Okay, so she had a little boat to herself and she would ferry people across the Yamuna. Now, because Satyavati came from a family of fishermen, right, entire day and night she spent around fish, she had this horrible machli ka smell. Okay, that's why she was also called Matsya Gandha, somebody who smelt like Matsya, like fish. So one day, a very powerful sage, right, Parashar Muni, he happened to pass by. So he comes to the river, he gets onto Satyavati's boat and she's supposed to take him across. The river is very quiet, no one is around, right? It's very serene. And this Parashar Muni, he's done a lot of tapasya and then he looks at this beautiful girl and he is infatuated. है ना? दिल आ जाता है उस पे. He gets very, very attracted to Satyavati. And in the middle of the river, he grabs her and he tells her, you know what? I absolutely love you and I want to unite with you. Now Satyavati is all nervous, right? She hesitates. But she sees कि यार this guy, इतना चमक रहा है, such an accomplished sage. है ना? तो maybe I should give in to him. But she's also feeling shy. She's also very concerned कि लोग क्या कहेंगे? है ना? What about my dignity? What about my future? So she kind of agrees. But she says कि भाई there is a condition. Okay, when we unite, nobody should be able to see us. Parashar Muni says उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है? Chants a mantra, tathastu, and an island appears, and around the island there is complete fog. Right? So he creates a mystical fog around that island. Now Satyavati sees कि oh my god, this guy can do all kinds of things. So she says, okay, one more request. She says, can you get rid of this Matsyaka smell from my body? He says, that's so simple. Tathastu. Right? So that fishy smell goes away and she actually starts smelling beautiful, like divine fragrance emanates from her. And it is said that this fragrance would spread for a whole yojana, that is 8 miles. And so Matsya Gandha became Yojana Gandha. Okay, that's how her name changes. Anyways, now she's very, impressed. So she tries to push her luck a little more. She says कि भाई तुम्हारा क्या भरोसा? Oh my God, we've lost light. Hold on. So what happens? She says, "Ki pata nahi, this Muni is here today, gone tomorrow. So if he takes away my virginity, my life will come to an end. Nobody else will want to marry me." So she says, "Ki ek kaam karo, after we unite, will you make sure that my virginity remains intact?" है ना? He says, "Okay, no problem." Right? He promises her कि your purity will remain intact. And then he also assures her कि this one-time episode is not going to negatively affect her life in the future. In fact, she's only going to benefit from it. So then she says, "Okay, one last condition. कि the child that is going to be born of us, right? This child cannot become like somebody from a fisherman family. He cannot, मुझ पे नहीं जा सकता. He has to go on his father." Sorry, Smriti, are you trying to say something?
Your voice is breaking a lot. Is it just for me?
Others, can you hear me?
No, yeah, it is breaking up.
It is breaking up? Okay, because I moved to
Okay,
mobile
fine.
network.
No, it's breaking for me.
Yeah, it's not breaking out here.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm going to try and go slowly. Smriti, any better? Okay, all right. So Satyavati has a few conditions. One, nobody should be able to see us, and so mystical fog. Two, my virginity has to remain intact. He says no problem. Three, this child has to be learned and respected like you. He has to take after the father, not after my family. He says okay. All right. And then of course her matsya smell goes away and she smells very, very fragrant. Okay. So right there in the middle of the river on a small island, they unite and the child is instantly born. Okay. This child, he grows up also very quickly. This child is called Krishna Dvaipayana Veda Vyas. Krishna because वो काले रंग के होते हैं, है ना? Krishna because he is dark complexioned. Dvaipayana because he is born on a dweep, on an island. Right? Veda Vyas. Ved because he was completely knowledgeable in the Vedas. Right? And Vyas. Vyas has a couple of meanings. One of the meanings of Vyas is somebody who can elaborate a lot. So essentially, Vyasdev took 4 seed verses. Right? Narad Muni gave him 4 verses of the Bhagavad. He took those 4 and made them 18,000 verses. So somebody who can elaborate, who can explain in detail. Right? Because he can do this, Veda Vyas is also called the literary incarnation, Sahitya avatar of Krishna. Right? Do any of you read the Vishnu Sahasranam? No? This is also mentioned in the Vishnu Sahasranam. If Subbalakshmi was here, she would have known. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. Vyas is Vishnu ka roop. Vishnu was very happy appearing in the form of Vyas. Okay? Anyways, the other meaning of Vyas is, Vyas means diameter. Okay? A diameter will always pass through the center. Correct? In a circle, there is a center. Any line that passes through the center and touches both corners is called the diameter. Vyas ka knowledge was, it encompassed everything. All knowledge is inside the center. That whole knowledge is Vyaska. But his knowledge always stayed with the center intact. All his knowledge focused on spirituality. Vyas did not do anything outside of spirituality. Okay, that is why also Vyas. Anyways, so many acharyas give so many meanings. Another very important thing which actually is relevant to our study is that Vyasdev is a Chiranjeevi, which means that Vyasdev is always present. So whenever we open our Bhagavad, Vyasdev is sitting right here. अच्छा, आज वर्षा कौन सा चैप्टर पढ़ रही है ना? So we need to be aware that Vyasdev knows everything that we are reading. And if we pray to him sincerely, he helps us in our study. Right? That is why in the beginning we chant Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. अगर मुझे ये स्क्रिप्चर को अच्छी तरह से समझना है, ततो जयम मुदीरयेत, दिस भागवत has the potency to get rid of all my troubles. Jayam, I will get victory over all my troubles if I read the Bhagavad. But that is possible only when I do namaskar properly. Right? So I do namaskar to Narayan. I do namaskar to Nar Narayan Rishis. I do namaskar to Saraswati Mata. And I do namaskar to Vyasdev. Right? And keep in mind, Vyasdev is Chiranjeevi. Right? So he's around us all the time. Like we say, ना, जहाँ पे भी कोई सत्संग होता है, हनुमान जी आके बैठते हैं. जहाँ पे भी भगवान का नाम होता है, वहाँ पे नारद मुनि आके बैठते हैं. Like that, wherever there is scriptural study, sincere effort to study the scriptures, Vyasdev पधारते हैं. Okay? So anyways, the same story, Vyas did not cry when he was born, blah, blah, blah. The only thing is, he told his mother, कि I am off for tapasya. But whenever you need me, remember me and I will come. Right? ये बोल के व्यास जी निकल गए. Where did he go? Where did he do tapasya?
Nimisharanya.
Where?
Was it Nimisharanya?
Badrikashram.
Badrikashram. Absolutely correct. Badrikashram. That is why, what is his other name, Kanchan?
Badrayan.
Correct. Correct. बादरायण है ना, बादरायण. बद्रिकाश्रम में बैठ के नारायण पे तपस्या की तो बादरायण. Okay? Anyways, so later his mother, the whole Mahabharata background is this, right? Satyavati goes and marries King Shantanu. Right? Shantanu is a king. Shantanu was with Ganga. That is how Bhishma was born. Then Ganga went away, took Bhishma with her, educated him in everything, and then sent Bhishma back. Right? Shantanu, obviously Raja cannot live alone. He's going out one day. Satyavati is supremely beautiful, falls in love with her. He wants to marry her. What does her father say? No. Imagine, a fisherman ka Raja, but he says, no. I'm not giving you my daughter. Why? Because you have an older son. That son is going to become the Raja. I don't want that. I want my daughter's son to become king. Shantanu says, I can't do that, and he goes back. But what happens? Dukhi, sulking, morose. And so this bichara Devavrat, Bhishma's pehle naam, before he became Bhishma, Devavrat goes, asks his father, ki Papa, hua kya hai aapko? Why are you so dukhi? Doesn't answer. Then Devavrat finds out, ki, oh, my father has fallen in love with this woman. So he goes to Satyavati's father. He says, Bhai, what is the problem? So he says, you will become Raja. I don't want that. I want my grandson to be the king. So he says, okay, usme kaun si badi baat hai? I will promise you that I will never become king. He says, that's not enough. You're saying you won't become king, lekin kal tumhara bachcha aayega, and he is going to say ki I am going to be the ruler next. Logically, that would be correct. So then Devavrat says, okay, I will never marry. So I will never have children. And I will take on the role of being protector of this throne forever. That is why it is called Bhishma Pratigya. He gave up his right to the kingdom. He gave up the right to have his own family. He just basically sacrificed his own future. Right? Just so that his father is happy and his father ka, lineage can continue. So he gave up his own right to everything. So the Pratigya is very Bhishan. That is why he is called Bhishma. So from that moment, Devavrat became Bhishma. Then what happens? Shantanu and Satyavati get married. Right? They have two sons. Who are the two sons?
Vichitravirya and the other one is something starts with a S.
No,
Can't remember the name.
Chitrangad. Chitrangad.
Yes.
So the older one, correct. The older one is Chitrangad. Very brave, very handsome, very capable. And then there is Vichitravirya. Unfortunately, Chitrangan dies very young in battle. So Vichitravirya becomes the king. Okay? But it is said that he got leprosy. So Vichitravirya also passes away childless. Now again what happens? There is no lineage. There is nobody to continue. So Bhishma doesn't step in and say, okay, now I will get married and I will take this forward. No. He says, now what can we do? So Satyavati says, wait, I have another son. Right? So that is when she thinks of her first son. And she calls Vyasdev. Right? But before this, what has happened? For Vichitravirya, Bhishma has gone and kidnapped those three girls, right? From the Swayamvar. Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. There is a Swayamvar that is happening. Kashi ki Raja, he has three daughters. He's organized their Swayamvar. Bhishma is so angry ki how did he not invite Vichitravirya? Right? So Bhishma goes. And actually they're very happy because they think Bhishma has come for himself. Bhishma picks them up but takes them for Vichitravirya. So in that whole story of Amba is already in love with Shalva. Right? So then Bhishma says, look, I'm so sorry, I did not know that you were already promised to someone else. He lets Amba go. And then he brings Ambika and Ambalika for Vichitravirya. Right? So now Ambika and Ambalika are widowed because Vichitravirya has passed away. Right? So then this Mahan Rishi, Vyasdev, is invited. Then we know how Vyasdev and Ambika is Dhritarashtra. Right? She gets really scared, she closes her eyes, and so a blind boy is born. Then Vyasdev and the third one, Ambalika goes all pale. And so the child born is very, very pale. That is Pandu. And then the maid servant, the Satyavati tells her daughter-in-law, ki bhai ek aur baar yaar try kar lo, we need a good, capable son. The daughter-in-laws are very smart. They say mother-in-law will never find out. So they quietly get one of their maid servants to unite with Vyasdev. Vyasdev, of course, understands. And then that maid servant is so calm, so peaceful. So their union gives birth to Vidur. Right? So that is how Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidur are born. So if you actually think about it, Vyasdev has 4 children. Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidur and Shukdev Goswami. Right? So Shukdev Goswami is a brother to these other 3. And Vyasdev becomes the grandfather of all the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Right? Vyasdev is the one who is also granted Divya Chakshu to Sanjay. Right? At the war of Mahabharata, Sanjay is able to see everything and hear everything that's happening, that's being spoken, is because Vyasdev is the one who helped him, who blessed him. Right? Yat prasadat. Right? It is because of Vyasdev's prasad that Sanjay could see and hear everything. So that is all about Vyasdev. Clear? So entire Mahabharata comes because we have Vyasdev. So Vyasdev not only wrote the Mahabharata, he's also a participant. Right? He's one of the actors, he's one of the characters of the Mahabharata. Okay. Alright, let's continue. Verse number 15. Sakadachit saraswatyam Upasprushya jalam shuchihi Vivikta eka asinam Udite ravimandale.
Once upon a time, he, Vyasdev, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate.
Okay, Sa Kadachit Saraswatya. So, once upon a time, he sat on the banks of the river Saraswati. Upasprushya Jalam Shuchihi. He used jal, water, which means he took a bath and he purified himself. Okay? Vivikta Eka Asina. He went and he sat alone on an asan to concentrate. He sat in an isolated spot. Okay? Udite Ravi Mandale. When did he do all of this? When the sun was just rising. Early morning. Okay? He sat down to meditate. So this verse is especially telling us how we should try and be in Satogun. Right? Even if we are doing Satoguni activities, everything else has to be Satoguni, so it will encourage our activity. Satoguni time is when the sun rises. Therefore, we need to wake up early and do our spiritual activities. Satoguni place on the banks of a river. Right? इसीलिए लोग जाते हैं गंगा तट, यमुना तट, सरस्वती के तट, right? On the banks of Saraswati. 3, he sat Eka Asina. He sat alone where nobody could come and disturb him. Right? So important things for us to keep in mind. We should take advantage of everything Satoguni so that our chanting, our studying becomes better. Right? For us to be in Satogun, first thing we need to keep our phones far away. In another room. Right? Put your phone far away, then you already get into Satogun and we'll be able to study better. Alright? Okay. Next verse. Verse number 16. Paravaragnya Sarushi. Kalena Vyaktaramhasam. Yuga Dharma Vyatikaram. Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge.
The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time.
So, Paravaragnya Sa Rushi. This Rushi, he knew everything. Para and Avara. Para means everything that is higher, all the spiritual truths. And Avara, the lower material truths. It can also be said that he knew the past and the future. Right? He is a Rishi who knew everything. So, Kalena Vyakta Ramhasa. He could see that Kal is Avyakta, right? None of us can see time. Time is invisible, but time is also very powerful. And time silently changes everything. So Vyasadeva could see that in the coming Kal, there is going to be trouble. है ना? The Kal जो आने वाला है, it is not going to be as good as पहले वाला Kal. युग धर्म व्यतिकरम. जो भी उस युग का धर्म है, वो पालन नहीं होने वाला है. Right? He could see that there is going to be a decline in dharma. He could see that people are going to forget their values. There's going to be confusion everywhere. People are not going to know what is right and what is wrong. Right? So, Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge. He knows that this happens every time, again and again on earth. It's not the first time that's happening. This Satyug, what Treta Yug, Satyug, Dwapar Yug and Kali Yug की होते ही रहता है. Right? Every युग के साथ there is some deterioration in dharma. Alright? So the next two verses are going to tell us what Kali Yuga is going to look like. It's very similar to the verse that we've done in the first chapter. Okay? Bhautikanam cha bhavanam. Shaktirhasam cha tatkrutam. अश्रद्धधानान् निःसत्त्वान् दुर्मेधान् ऋषतायुषः दुर्भागांश्च जनान् वीक्ष्य मुनिर्दिव्येन चक्षुषाम् सर्ववर्णाश्रमाणां यद् दध्यौ हितम् अमोघदृक्
The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see, through his transcendental vision, the deterioration of every material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and order of life.
Okay. All right. So very, very similar to what we've done before. Anyone remembers the verse that we've done before? In the first chapter? Prayena alpa ayusha sabhya kalau asmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya yupadritaha. Characteristics of us, Kali Yugi people, right? We are going to be manda, come intelligent. Manda bhagya, right? Our bhagya, we are not going to be very fortunate. Sumanda matayo, we won't even have great people to go and take advice from. Upadrutaha, we're always going to be anxious, always, stressed and troubled, right? So this is exactly what Vyasdev saw, and that is what he's describing here. Okay? Bhautikanam cha bhavanam. He saw that in this world, everyone is going to be very, very materialistic. Okay? Rasam cha tatkrutam. All their shakti rasam, all their energy is going to be weakened. They're going to have lesser ability to work. We know when we talk of Arjun and Bhim and all of them, they had so much strength. We have nothing. Abhi summer hai, आधा घंटा धूप में जाके आते, we all come back with a headache. Right? This is a fact. Right? All of us are so weak. कुछ बाहर का गंदा सा खा लिया, we suffered. Any small thing, थोड़ा सा जल्दी उठ गए, तो शाम तक again we have a headache. We're exhausted. We suffer so much. This is a characteristic of Kali Yuga. Right? Shakti rasam. शक्ति ही कम हो जाती है. Right? सब कुछ कम पड़ेगा. Ashraddadhanam. It is so hard for us to have faith. Faithless people everywhere. Nissatwan. Nobody wants to be in Satogun. All of us. मुझे तो भाई जितना सोने बोलो मैं शायद सुबह देर से ही उठूं. Right? It's very hard for us to wake up early. We're very content being in Rajogun and Tamogun. We're very happy sleeping late. Truly, I can stay up for as long as you want. Subah uthna is such a pain. Right? So, sleeping late is easy. Working for materialistic things is easy. All of that is easy, but being in Satogun is so hard. Nissatwan, characteristic of Kali Yuga. है ना? Durmedhan, no medha, wisdom, absolutely lacking. Stupid, intelligent in material life, but dumb-witted when it comes to spiritual growth. And alpa ayushaha, we all have short lives. Right? Ghar mein, when we have seniors, right, at about 70, 80, if they start falling sick, doctor भी बोलता भी ज़्यादा इलाज मत करो, पता नहीं कितना टाइम बाकी है. Right? And we talk of all these people, Krishna, Arjun and all being over 120 years when they fought Mahabharata. And they look so beautiful and young. Right? So we have very short lives. We are very, very stupid. We don't have faith. We have no inclination to be in Satogun. We're always thinking of material life. Then durbhagya. We are filled with misfortune, right? We are unfortunate. We are not lucky. Why? Because we don't make time for spirituality. Okay, the minute we start making time for spirituality, that durbhagya will become saubhagya. Okay? Munir divyena chakshusha. Now this Muni, Vyasdev, he saw all of this because he has divya chakshu. Right? He has divine vision. So he could look into the future and see ki, oh my God, Varsha to aisi hone wali hai. Right? And so, what did he do? Sarva Varnashram ko, he wanted unka hit. He wanted the welfare of people from all Varna and all ashram. He could see that people were spiritually struggling. So he is thinking, how can I help not just Varsha, but everybody? I want to help everybody at every stage of their life. So what is the best that I can do? Because he's Amoghadruk, right? He's such a pure-hearted person. He wants to help everybody. Okay, so please remember Vyasdev is Trikaladarshi, Trikaladnya. Trikaladarshi means somebody who can see all three kals. Trikaladnya means he has knowledge about all three kals. Past, present and future. Okay, so he saw all the downs of Kali Yuga and he is thinking ki I need to help these guys. Okay, because he is super knowledgeable and because he is always thinking of everybody else ka kalyan, right? He is thinking ki okay, now what is the best that I can do to help these poor souls? Okay, so text 19. Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajanam viksha vaidikam vyadadhad yajna santatyai vedam ekam chaturvidham
He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupation could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men.
So at that time, what was the knowledge that was available? Vedic knowledge, right? So Vyasdev thought ki, oh my God, this whole ocean of knowledge is available, right? There are so many rituals given in the Vedas. Chaturhotram. The rituals are so elaborate that you need 4 priests to do every ritual. Right? All the Vedic rituals, they need one priest to chant the invocations, to invite all the devas, right? Then they need another priest to light the Agni. They need another priest to make sure that he's saying the right mantras. They're putting the right swadha in the hotra, right? So these were all chaturhotram. The Vedas prescribed so many rituals, and all these rituals were very capable of purifying all our karmas, right? If I perform a Vedic ritual with those 4 priests who know exactly what to do, then I can purify all my karma. Karma shuddham. When we do a yajna correctly, at that time the place, the person, all the karmas, everything gets purified. So, Vyasdev realizes कि यार इतना सारा Vedic knowledge available है. So what should I do? I should spread this Vedic knowledge to people at large. Right? If people understand Vedic knowledge, then they will be able to perform these yajnas and they will all benefit from it. But he realized कि एक problem है. Vedas are way too elaborate. They're very, very complex. And I have seen कि Kali Yugi people are going to be mandabuddhi. So how are they going to be able to study this vast knowledge? So what did he do? To spread the knowledge of the Vedas, okay, Vedic rituals, he took that one Ved and he divided it into 4. Originally एक ही था, वेद था. He took that and he divided it into 4 parts the way we hear it today. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sama Ved and Atharva Ved. Okay, so everything was all over in the Vedas. What he did was like how our Gaurang Darshan Das Prabhu does. He creates a Subodhini, right? And he gives us a whole flow chart. He gives us a bird's eye view of what is where. You know, if I need to reference something, where do I find it? So that is exactly what Vyasdev did with the Vedas. He puts them all in the correct sections. है ना? सब भगवान को invoke करने वाले श्लोक in the invitation देने वाला श्लोक is in the Rig Veda. Now suppose I'm having a party at home, right? What do? I send out invites, right? Then I organize my party. Then I have, when people arrive at my party, I have sweet words to speak to everybody. And when they're leaving, I give them all gifts. Okay, understand this. This comes from the Vedas. Okay? So these 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda, that is what they explain. One tells you how to send out your invites. How do you invoke the different devatas? How do you invite them to please come and attend your puja? Right? One tells you all the planning that is required. Right? What is all the samagri that you need? Then one tells you ki after the devatas have come, what are the prayers that you chant? What are the sweet words? What are the praises that you do, that you sing for the devatas? And last is, how do you do the Uttar Puja? When you send them away, what are the gifts? Think about it. If you've even done a simple Satnarayan Puja, right? You invite the devatas, right? There is a particular arrangement. After Bhagwan Ji comes, then you give him khana, you give him pina, aap unka, you do abhishek, right? Then you put his favorite tulsi on him. You have nice elaborate prasad made out. With him you call the Navagraha. You do Vayu ki puja, Shankh Ghanta ki puja. There's so much, right? There are specific colors that the Panditji uses. A yellow color flower for Surya Dev, a red color flower for Ganpati. These are common. Purple color flowers for Rahu, Ketu. So there are very specific details. Where do all these come from? From the Vedas, right? So Vyasdev, he took everything that was put in the Vedas and he classified them. Oh my God, we're running out of time. Okay. Okay. So, thankfully we don't have to study the Vedas. But please understand, this is where it started. When Vyasdev first thought about मैं लोगों का हित कैसे करूं, he said Ved is available, so I'm going to classify the Vedas. So he classified the Vedas for people like us because he thought कि उसमें क्या है? Varsha will give Rig Ved and understand what to do. है ना? Smriti will read Yajur Ved, understand what to do. Karan will read Sama Ved, know exactly what to do. That did not happen. But anyways, that was his original plan. With that, Grantraj Srimad, no, what? Vangmay Mukut Shiromani Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sorry, we ran out of time. I had more prepared. Yes, Bhakti, you have a question.
Yes, Madhuri. It would be a very naive question, but it keeps coming to me. So, I have been listening to Radha Govind Maharaji, and the whole episode where Parikshit Maharaj wants to hear about Krishna. So when they are at Naimisharanya, Vyasdev is already present there, Narad Muni is there, all the Maharshis, all the big rishis are there, and they are discussing, how should he get those, what he wants to hear about Krishna, They are suggesting all the different things. And then, as a traveler, Shukadev Goswami comes, and then everybody invites him, and, the whole thing happens. But why, when Vyasdev, who is the actual author of Bhagavatam, he's right there, why is he not, saying the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, but why was it Shuk Goswami? Was it because he was, I went back to know who actually Shukdev Goswami is. He was a parrot of Radharani. So was it that he was the chosen one by Krishna? Because as per what I heard is that, I mean, Shukdev Goswami just doesn't appear and nobody even calls him. None of the Maharshis or the Rishis, nobody calls him. He comes because he's like a paryatak, right? All his life he's only traveled. Even when he goes to get from one's house, nothing more than half an hour and only half a cup of milk that he would consume in an entire day. So he never really spoke to anybody or anything. All his intention was, "Hey, mujhe to wapas jana hai," and that is also the reason why he didn't even want to come out of his mother's womb till 16 years. So why was it that not Vyasdev, but it was Shukadev Goswami who said the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj?
Remember, we did that incident when Shukdev Goswami passed by and the ladies in the lake were unaffected. Vyasdev passed by and they immediately covered themselves up. है ना? Vyasdev,
Yes. I was actually thinking of that because he is Grahastha.
he's a Grahastha.
Yeah.
Shukdev Goswami's level of purity. He's Shukdev, he's a Shuka, parrot, right? He not only parroted everything that Vyasdev had taught him, but he came with a whole lot of realizations. And because his purity was of the highest level, right? Remember, we did the qualities of Shukdev Goswami last time? He saw no difference in anybody. He saw the perfect soul in everybody, right? That level of having no discrimination, samadruk, being equal to everybody, being untouched by material life. So Vyasdev has had experience of material life. Vyasdev has studied the Vedas. We will go ahead and see in this chapter. Vedas are full of how do I gain in my material life. I want a child, so what is the ritual? I want money, what is the ritual? I want career, what is the ritual? And even at this point, when Vyasdev was thinking कि मैं लोगों का कल्याण कैसे करूं, what does he do? ये वेद है, मैं वेद को डिवाइड करता हूं. So Vyasdev is Veda Vyas. He has complete knowledge of the Vedas. Shukdev Goswami is untouched even by that. Shukdev Goswami is pure. First, he had full knowledge of Brahman, absolute pure knowledge of Brahman, which became knowledge of Bhagwan when he heard the Bhagavad. So Shukdev Goswami is untouched by any material knowledge also. Right?
He had a boon as well, right? Before he came out.
Sorry?
He got a boon as well before he came out of the womb, that he will never be touched by anything material.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how Krishna brings him out.
The reason why
He's
didn't want
refusing to come out of his
Yeah,
mother's
yeah.
womb, and Krishna has promised him कि भाई अब तू आजा, I promise you, you will not be touched by anything material. Right? So the person who wrote the literature has experience of a whole lot of other literature. This person who hears it has absolute purity, so has even received it very well and realized it to a very great level. And when he is passing it on, it's absolute pure conversation there. Right? So Vyasdev and Narad Muni also accept that Shukdev Goswami's recitation of the Bhagavad is purer, is the purest form. And that is exactly what Parikshit needs at that point. Again, Bhakti, it's like this. Think about it. There is Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Right? Why are we not listening from Radhanath Swami Maharaj? Why are we listening from Janma Mataji? Because each person के लिए है ना कोई लिखा हुआ होता है और उसी का लैंग्वेज है ना समझ में आता है. Right? At that stage, that person is right for us. Right? I truly understand Janma Mataji. I understood Satyati Mataji. Like for me, every word that Janma Mataji says, okay, I don't say I follow it, but I will at least give it due consideration. I may mull it in my head and then decide not to follow it, but I will just not listen. I will listen, I will process, and then I will decide कि इसको follow करना है कि नहीं करना है. But I can do that with Janma Mataji. I unfortunately cannot do that with Guru Maharaj as yet. Right? So we have to know कि
Sure. Yeah.
these are all, हर एक का लिखा हुआ होता है भी किससे सुनना है. Right? Sometimes we find the language, the way a person speaks, we find that instant connect with that person. And so we're able to study better.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes that doesn't happen even with the best of speakers. Right? I mean, I'm not criticizing. There is this Chaitanya Prabhu, Chaitanya Charan Das. My God, he writes so much and he speaks so much. And I have not bad English language skills. But I feel कि यार ये बंदा तो इंग्लिश में बात ही नहीं कर रहा है. Everything goes bouncers. Because his language is just like I need to sit with a dictionary कि भाई ये क्या बोल गया. एक तो spirituality is anyway so hard to follow. उसमें if your language is so crazily extensive, then sometimes you just miss what the person is trying to say, right? So I guess for each person there is one right person, है ना? Who like I love Janma Mataji. There's Hindi, there's English, there's Bombaya language, there's Bollywood songs. So you kind of connect with her so quickly. Oh yeah, she knows every Bollywood song before the 80s. She knows every single one of them, and she puts it in every situation, and it's so easy to understand, right? So I guess that could also be a thing. Hai na?
Yes.
Yeah. Does anyone have any
It's how we
questions?
relate with you. It's how we relate with you, Harsha.
Kindergarten, you have to get ahead of this. By the way, I'm so happy to tell all of you that Smriti has actually started teaching the Bhagavad Gita verses to people there, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm so grateful that she's taking this forward. So
Grateful
all
to
of you
you.
must try and do this, right? Everyone,
You are
each
the
one,
one
teach
who
one, bada
encouraged
maza
me and
aayega.
pushed me.
है ना? So yes, I'm
You are the
pushing
one
all of you.
who inspired me.
No. I'm definitely going to request all of you. Jitna ho sake, spread the holy name. It doesn't have to be a difficult, systematic study the way we are doing it. लेकिन किसी को कुछ भी सुनाओ, थोड़ा बहुत उसको रस दे के जाना. Keep that in mind. Whenever you talk to somebody about anything that you hear, anything that you read, leave them in a happier mood than they were in. Right? Be able to take away their worries. If somebody ever comes to you with troubles, don't say ये तुम्हारा कर्म है. तुम अपना कर्म भोग रहे हो. Don't say mean things even if you understand it. है ना? Very sweetly leave them with a couple of nice words. Say Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Right? Say nice things. Pass on the good words. Right? So thank you, Smriti. Thank you everybody for joining. Do we have anybody else who wants to share anything? No? Thank you so much. Again, an open offer. Yes, Kiran, you want to say something? No?
No.
Okay. Very sincerely, if any of you ever think, you know what, I want to share this particular thing with a friend, with somebody who's willing to listen, you can even reach out to me and ask me for notes. Okay? For everything that I do, I prepare detailed notes. Okay? It is for my personal study. And if you ever think, I want to teach this to somebody, please just ask. Okay? It's all there with me. And I'd be happy if you can take it and spread the knowledge. Okay? Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much.
So much.
Hari Bol.
Krishna.